Welcome to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. The Takeover is also available via the BS3 Network. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review, reminding you, if you have Roku, just download BS3 TV. If you don't, get it. You can go to bs3network.com or watch it via bs3tvlive.com. Okay, this edition of the Takeover, I got a lot to try to squeeze in here in this hour. Let's see if I can do it. First things first, give shout out to colleague Chris Baldwin with Paper City Magazine, who with the exclusive regarding Kevin Durant's thumb surgery. I'm not sure why no one else nationally has reported this. You can get an idea of the national folks I'm talking about. But the report by Chris Baldwin is accurate. I was told that KD's surgery is not the reason why there has not been an intro press conference here in H-Town with the media. It's due to scheduling. So it's not an issue with taking questions about KD and the surgery and maybe having his thumb in a cast or anything like that. Nothing like that. So we're just waiting for the press conference. Not sure when the Rockets will make an official statement regarding KD's thumb surgery and a timetable for his recovery. But it's a minor surgery. He's expected to make a full recovery and be ready for the season, training camp, all those good things. But yes, I just wanted to acknowledge, Rocket fans, if you're watching this edition of The Takeover, that Chris Baldwin's story in Paper City Magazine is accurate. Kevin Durant did have thumb surgery. Next, Forever Coogs are participating in the 2025 TBT, taking place, I think, starting tomorrow, Friday, July 18th. Forever Coogs is the 1 seed in the Wichita region. They won't play until Sunday, July 20th on FS2, 6 p.m. tip-off time. But I want to acknowledge or let everyone know that even though he is listed on the TBT website, Houston Cougar alum Rob Gray is not going to play in TBT this year due to recovering from an injured calf muscle Rob suffered in April. Sources tell me that. And trust me, it's a very, 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 very reliable source who gave me that information. Rob was listed on TBT website for Forever Cougs just in case he recovered, injury recovery, and he was available to play. Not going to happen. So Galen Robinson Jr. is on the team. Malik Wilson is listed on the team too, but Malik and the Rockets Summer League team are not yet finished. So Rockets, I think, Summer League team plays today, and then their 5th game might be Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday. If it's Sunday, obviously Malik won't play with Forever Cougs. But stay tuned with that. Juwan Roberts is also listed on the roster. So a few other Cougs. I saw Derek Griffin is on the roster. Texas Southern, Houston area product, played at TSU. Basketball and football. Tremendous athlete. But we shall see how Forever Cougs, how far they go. If they win it all with the alum ending, the magic score you have to reach. And that's how the game ends. The game ends on a made bucket in TBT. But I have heard there are discussions, talks about a different format for future TBT that will involve approval from the NCAA. Rex, how are you doing? Thank you for chiming in. And the reason C837, let me address your comment as well. The reason TBT is not in Houston, it's dollars and cents. There was not enough money. No company put up the money to have Fertitta Center as a host this year. So that's why Forever Cougs are the 1 seed and playing in Wichita. Wichita is a rock solid fan draw in TBT. They have great crowds at Coke Arena. But last year, the first year that Forever Cougs participated in TBT, money was put up, enough money, promises, whatever you want to call it, to host the games at Fertitta Center. Not the case this year. So that's why Forever Cougs not playing home games or any games at Fertitta Center. Miss Wanda, how are you doing? So give shout out to you, CA37 and Rex. So TBT currently is still a 64 team format, 4 regions. You know, it's like an NCAA tournament region, 16 teams all over 4 different regions, and you have host sites. TBT is basically alumni for schools that participate in these events. And you advance to the round of 32, round of 16, round of 8, round of 4, etc. And the games are on Fox Sports, FS1, FS2, and I think the title game this year will be on Big Fox, I think. I'm not sure why I have not received more info regarding press releases. Maybe that's because the Forever Cougs team is not playing at Fertitta Center, so there's not a direct relationship with the UH media department. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I know. And I do know, as I said, that there are discussions taking place about a potential change in format going forward regarding TBT that, how much should I say? What should I say? May involve, and this is where I say NCAA approval, current UH is an example, but current men's college teams participating in TBT in the future. Kind of like, rather than going overseas and playing 3 or 4 games, they play the 3 or 4 games in TBT. So that is being discussed. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that is being discussed. And some of the teams involved are heavy hitters. And I'm happy to say my alma mater has now risen to the level of being a heavy hitter when it comes to men's college basketball. So you heard that here on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the lunch break, that there are discussions ongoing about a future change in format. It involve maybe 4, 6 current college teams playing against the other alumni teams in TBT. Maybe even some teams, international teams. A lot of things discussed. Got to get money involved, have the back and forth, underwriters, all those things. But just another thing to keep in mind and remind folks where you heard it first and who told you it first here on this show on Roku via the BS3 Network. Some baseball. Yes, baseball news. Yes. Cougar baseball. Antoine Jean, his name called by the Colorado Rockies. Connor McGinnis by the Yankees. 2 Houston baseball student assets heard their names called on Monday's portion of the 2025 MLB Draft. Left-handed pitcher Antoine Jean heard his name called in the MLB Draft on Monday by the Colorado Rockies in the 7th round. And the 197th pick and infielder Connor McGinnis got the call from the New York Yankees in the 10th round at pick 314. Love 314 because that's my birthday, March 14th. Jean is the highest Cougar pitcher drafted since Robert Gasser in 2021, and he marks the 5th consecutive draft a Houston pitcher has been drafted. That's news to me. The Montreal, Canada native was named Houston's 29th All-American and is the first Cougar since Brad Lincoln in 2006 to earn multiple first-team All-America honors in the same season. The lefty led the Big 12 in ERA, hits allowed per 9, strikeout to walk ratio, strikeouts per 9, and whip, while finishing 2nd in total strikeouts and 6th in saves. Jean became the first relief pitcher to win Big 12 Conference Pitcher of the Year in 2025. Big 12 been around 30 years and was Houston's second 100-plus strikeout reliever in program history. He posted 12 scoreless relief appearances and 13 5-plus strikeout outings, while his 110 strikeouts were the most by a Coug since 2018. In addition to those conference ranks, Jean was second nationally in strikeouts per nine and hits allowed per nine, 8th in whip, 17th in strikeout to walk ratio, 18th in ERA, and 19th in total strikeouts. Connor McGinnis is the highest Coug position player draft pick since Jared Triolo in 2019, and just the third Cougar infielder to be taken in the first 10 rounds since 2017. The Frisco, Texas native led the team in doubles, batting average, slugging, and on base, while finishing 7th on the team in RBI despite missing 24 games. Primarily playing second base, the left-handed hitter finished 5th on the team in multi-hit games and posted 5 multi-RBI games. In the Big 12 championship first round win over number 6 seed Kansas State, McGinnis went 3 for 5 with 2 RBI and 2 doubles. The second baseman's 10-game hitting streak, which was the longest on the team, included 4 multi-hit games before injury. Jean is the 4th Cougar selected by the Colorado Rockies and the 1st since 2009, while McGinnis is the 3rd Coug drafted by the Yankees and the 1st since 1992. Both Houston draft picks are the highest picked Cougs by either organization in MLB history. And as I say it, I'm going to say it here, and as the shirt said, and as Ms. Wanda has been the first to order, her and her daughter, once a Coug, always a Coug. Go Cougs. Order you a shirt. Link in the description. Get you that merch. Go to the website. Get you that merch. But I'm not done talking college baseball. This is shocking. Shocking. Me talking baseball. Baseball. Rice Owls. Rice Owls making baseball news. Rice Owls got 2 of these, 2 different players, 2 different days. Rice Owls Davion Hickson, drafted by the Dodgers. Right-handed pitcher Davion Hickson was selected by the LA Dodgers in the 5th round of the MLB Draft on Monday. Hickson was a second-team All-AAC selection in his first season as a starter in 2025 and led Rice in innings, strikeouts, ERA, opponent's batting average, and fewest home runs. He was 5th in the AAC in season batting average, 6th in strikeouts, and 8th in ERA. His 90 strikeouts were a career high and the most by an Owl since Matt Cantorino fanned 121 in 2019. And his 11.1 strikeouts per 9 innings ranked 49th nationally. Hickson was the first Owl starter to pitch into the 8th 4 times in a season since John Duplantier in 2016. He is the 6th Owl to be drafted by the Dodgers and the 1st since Jeremy Refn in the 11th round and Matthew Reckling in the 14th round were selected by the Dodgers in 2012. This marks the 4th consecutive year Rice has had at least one pitcher taken in the draft, and 3rd consecutive year the Owls have had a pitcher selected in the top 7 rounds, joining Justin Long and Parker Smith. More Rice Owls baseball. The Mets select Garrett Stratton. Rice Owls right-handed pitcher Garrett Stratton was selected by the New York Mets in the 20th round of the MLB Draft. In Georgia, Stratton enjoyed his most productive season as an Owl in 2025, ranking only behind Jack Ben-Shoshan in appearances and strikeouts out of the bullpen. And he was second on the team by stranding 15 inherited base runners. He worked a career-high 4 innings and struck out a career-best 6 versus Yale on March 7th and tossed 3 shutout innings in relief at Florida Atlantic on March 22nd to earn a save in David Pierce's first win at Rice. He is the second Owl to be drafted by the Mets, joining Philip Umber, Rice Owls legend, who was taken in the first round of the 2004 draft. Rice has seen 7 pitchers drafted in the last 4 years: Rael Garcia, Hayden Dirk, Justin Long, Matthew Linsky, Parker Smith, Tavion Hickson, and of course, Garrett Stratton. So salute, kudos to the Rice Owls. And folks, I am not done speaking about Rice, talking to Rice. I have an interview lined up with Rice Owls alum, recent Rice Owls alum, Miss Malia Fisher. And that conversation you can watch here on this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. Conversation, I think it's pretty interesting. And after that, take a break and then come back and try to squeeze in some surprising news regarding SWAC and SWAC TV, the creation of SWAC TV. In fact, let me read this first, this news. This is a big deal. The Southwestern Athletic Conference announced the creation of SWAC TV, an exclusive streaming platform that will deliver users league athletics content across all 18 conference-sponsored sports. Quote from Dr. Charles McClelland, who I've known for years when he was at Prairie View and then TSU. The debut of SWAC TV is undoubtedly a game changer for the Southwestern Athletic Conference. For the first time in history, our fans and supporters will have a high-quality, technologically advanced streaming platform solely dedicated to broadcasting live events and delivering high-definition, on-demand league content. SWAC TV will officially be available for download on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Google Play, and Android TV on August 1st. The free platform will feature preseason, regular season, and postseason live events across 18 league-sponsored sports, while also featuring unique feature content, sports talk shows, and podcasts. Another quote from Dr. McClelland. With over a century of profound history and even brighter days ahead, we look forward to effectively utilizing SWAC TV as a catalyst to tell the impactful stories and legacies, both past and present, that have helped shape the SWAC into what it is today, which is one of the premier athletic associations in the nation. And here is a big deal. SWAC TV, quote, is going to be an additional revenue source for us, Dr. McClelland said during SWAC Football Media Day on Wednesday. SWAC TV is slated to make its live streaming debut with the Week 1 kickoff of the 2025 football season on Saturday, August 30th, as the network will have a triple header of games featuring Southern at Mississippi Valley State, Langston versus Grambling State, and the Labor Day Classic, TSU at Prairie View, 7 p.m. our time. A total of 45 league games are scheduled to be streamed on SWAC TV during its inaugural broadcast season, with the Turkey Day Classic featuring Tuskegee at Alabama State slated to conclude network football coverage on Thursday, November 27th at 2 p.m. Central Time. Folks, that's SWAC TV on all those multiple platforms, including Roku, Fire TV, Google, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Free for fans of the SWAC, alums. I'm not going to say anything else about a certain conference that my alma mater is part of. But anyway, now for the next few minutes, enjoy my conversation with Rice alum Malia Fisher, because she announced earlier this week that she signed a pro contract to continue her basketball career. She's going to be playing pro ball overseas in Germany. Enjoy this conversation, my chat with Malia Fisher. Rice Owls alum, as you're watching this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel and, of course, on Roku via the BS3 Network. Enjoy our conversation. Hello, it's me, KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Joining me is Malia Fisher, Rice Owls alum, basketball player, basketball legend for women's basketball. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Does it feel strange to hear that you are a Rice Owls alum?
It's definitely strange. I think the hardest part is watching their Instagram as they're going through the workouts and just seeing all the fun that they're having and knowing that I'm not there.
I mean, this is kind of a strange question. I thought about this yesterday. I mean, I know you graduated, but you didn't get a chance to go overseas last month, did you?
Nope, I didn't get the chance to go with them. If we would have won our conference championship, the deal was that she would pay our way to go with them, but we dropped the ball on that one, so we didn't get to go.
All right, well, let's start right there. For those who don't know Malia Fisher and who you are, and shame on you for not covering Rice basketball these last 4 years, tell everyone a little bit about you. And, well, I got a question. I'm not sure if I ever asked you this when you got to Rice as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Why Rice?
I think when I was looking for a school, I wanted best of both worlds, academic and competition. And, Rice was actually my last offer that I got, and it turned out to be exactly what I was looking for. And I loved the institution, I loved the area, and it had everything that I was looking for.
If you don't mind my asking, do you remember who your other, I guess, final 5 choices were?
I never really narrowed it down to 5. I had a top 2, and it was between Rice and the University of Colorado Boulder.
Okay. How'd you hear about Rice, being from Georgia, right?
I didn't know a thing about Rice until Coach Langley called me up and started recruiting me I don't even know when she started recruiting me, somewhere around my junior year, I think. But
Wow.
Before then, I'd never heard of it.
So junior, that's kind of late. And yet okay.
Yeah.
So what was anything specific that sold you on Rice?
I mean, apart from just how prestigious the education is, also at the time, they were a powerhouse with the players that they had in Conference USA. They had Nancy Mulkey, Erica Aguilar-McKay. They were just an absolute great team, competing in the NCAA tournament. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, and having the academic prestige than what Rice was at that time.
Did your mom try to sway you on yay or nay with Rice?
She didn't really have her inputs on where I wanted to go. It was mostly my decision, kind of just keeping her in the loop. I think she just wanted me to make that decision for myself and really want me to want for myself and where I wanted to go.
How have you grown, changed, transformed, evolved from your freshman year at Rice to now being a Rice graduate?
I mean, I was a little baby coming in 4 years ago. It doesn't sound like that long ago, but when you go into college, that's an exponential amount of growth from freshman year to sophomore year or senior year. I mean, not only on the court, you could see my game develop through my numbers, through what I was doing, but also with the opportunities that I was able to do. I've got the opportunity to study abroad. I've gotten the opportunity to work multiple internships with multiple different companies, and those settings have just propelled who I am as a person and kind of my motivation for what I want for myself that I did not have before coming to Rice.
Where you mentioned it, where have you studied abroad?
I got to study abroad in Costa Rica for about 2.5 months. I was there learning Spanish, studying at the university in Costa Rica. Don't ask me to speak Spanish because I haven't done it since then. Um, but it was a really cool experience and very generous of Coach E to let me and another girl ended up going to study abroad as well to have that opportunity.
How many internships have you had?
Oh gosh, I've had basketball makes it tough, but I've had a bunch of kind of like weekend long internships with probably 4 different companies. A lot of them are like sports organizations that I've done multiple years in a row, but those are the main ones.
What you graduate? What was your major? What's your degree in?
I graduated with a major in psychology and then a minor in business.
Okay, and now I'm going to show her stats. Well, I am when I get it here. Malia Fisher could hoop at Rice. All-time ranks: number 10 in scoring, number 9 in field goals made, number 9 in blocks, number 8 in rebounds. Does any of those 4 things mean more to you than the others?
Um, Not necessarily. I mean, I think they're all great, but numbers are great, but I don't think any of it is the most important part of, my career. But they're all wonderful numbers.
And congrats to you. What what was, I guess, a difference, the biggest difference between Coach Langley and Coach Edmonds?
Well, I mean, I never got the opportunity to be actually coached by Langley. Most of
Right.
it was just, phone calls, building the relationship. But I mean, honestly would say they have a lot of similarities. I mean, I haven't talked to Coach Langley in 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Um, but I remember Coach Langley was somebody that I was very close with um, during that time, and she is largely part of the reason why I chose Rice. But just the same as Coach E, I think those are two people like I know you said differences, but like I really don't have any differences for them. I think they're just both two very encouraging, empowering women that I look up to.
When Coach Langley left Rice for Washington and Coach E came in, did Coach E have to do a hard sell on you to get you to stay at Rice?
Not really. I think I chose my school because of academics. I wanted the degree from Rice, regardless of what the basketball looked like. Um, the initial conversation with Coach E, I mean, as a freshman, it was a hard conversation because you're not really, I guess, well trained and having those kinds of conversations at that age. That's not something that I was expecting to happen, but I honestly couldn't have asked for anything better. Um, Coach E has been such a mentor for me, and I honestly wouldn't imagine my career any other way without her.
How has your basketball game evolved? Because now soon enough we're going to get into your big news
Hmm.
that I'm going to ask you to pronounce the protein. I can't even do. But from your freshman year at Rice as a hooper to now, has your game changed? Has it gotten better? Have you improved in certain areas? What do you say?
I think the foundation of my game is still there. Obviously, I've expanded in areas that I was weak in coming in, but shooting, a lot of it starts with confidence, honestly. I came in as a freshman, took maybe 3 threes the whole year, probably dribbled very little. Um, but you grow. That's what happens. High school, you get stuck in a spot and you kind of stay in that spot. And, you know, Rice's coaching staff, Coach Nick, Coach Danny, Coach Kiwi, they're all great at what they do. Um, and so now, fast forward senior year, you saw me, taking the ball out, you're shooting threes. Um, you're being a leader on the floor vocally, statistically, and definitely my game has changed a lot since coming in freshman year.
Now, I remember you as a freshman. You weren't much of a talker.
No, it wasn't.
So was that becoming more vocal as a senior, as a junior, as a senior? Was that a challenge for you?
It was. I mean, since a freshman, freshman year, I can remember multiple times in practice getting in trouble because I wouldn't talk or stopping a drill and, coach saying, like, can you speak? Can you talk? Like that kind of thing. So that was an adjustment that I had to make. And, they always put an emphasis on me being more vocal. And while I still never fully became a vocal leader, I still found ways to, insert myself. I found that my leadership style was more on the court and more performance based, but, people still need to hear you. And so I kind of made it my intention to go to people directly and, be individually vocal, not necessarily group vocal.
Let's talk about that magical run your junior year to get to the NCAA tournament. If I remember right, the team did not go into the conference tournament on a hot streak. Is that right?
No, we were on a 5-game losing streak.
So what changed? What flipped that switch to get you and the team on that roll to win? What was it? 5 in a row?
Mm-hmm. 5 in a row.
5 in a row in 5 days to get to the NCAA tournament. So what was different?
I think our mindset going in, you can kind of go through regular season, know that you're going to have a next game that you can brush off the game before if you play bad. But once you hit tournament time and March comes around, April comes around, you either win or you go home. And I think we just played with a mentality and a chip on our shoulder, and knowing that we were capable of more than we were giving at that time. And I think a lot of people underestimated us going into the tournament, and I think that was not great on their part, but very great on our end, because I think we definitely used that to our advantage and just, played our hearts out.
Did you and your teammates kind of like have a meeting amongst yourselves to, this is it, this is our season's on the line here, anything like that?
Oh yeah, we're a talking team for sure. There's a quote somewhere that is like, bad teams don't communicate at all. Good teams communicate during the game, after the game, but great teams communicate before, during, and after. And I think that's something we really encompassed. We love our communication for sure. And I think we all really trust each other and had to buy into that going into that tournament, or we were going to fold.
Reaching the NCAA tournament, your first time, describe that experience. What was it like?
It was an amazing experience.
Before facing LSU, what was it like?
Before, so I mean, I remember Selection Sunday. We're all sitting in the big thing, and we knew we were going to be a bottom seed. That wasn't a surprise. So we knew we were going to face a top tier franchise team. We just didn't know who. And for it to be LSU after their coming off their national championship, that was one of the most exciting things, like moments probably that I've ever felt. And it was there was no fear in anyone's eyes. There was nothing. It was just all excitement of let's just go rock the boat. And I think that's exactly what we did. And then playing there in front of a sold out crowd, little old Rice, never played in front of that many people before. The beginning of the game was an adjustment. You can't hear yourself think. You can't even hear the shoes on the ground. No, nothing. You have to be very locked in, and it was an amazing experience. And I think for us to perform the way that we did, which no one was expecting at all, is even better.
Y'all put a scare in LSU.
Yeah.
You remember the final score? What was it?
I have no idea. All I remember is I fouled out, and I'm so mad at myself for
Yeah,
that.
I don't want to bring that up, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, the team put a scared LSU. I remember the announcing crew with the Rice Owls are giving LSU everything and more, and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, this doesn't surprise me because I saw this team play. So yeah,
Hmm.
senior year, high expectations going into the
Right.
season, and then you got injured
Hmm.
in what, October or so, September.
1 week before our first game, so October, I think, like middle of October, I ended up uh, tearing a ligament in my
Mm.
left thumb, and I was out for pretty much the whole non-conference, with the exception of the last few games.
How much of an adjustment was that for you?
It's not what I wanted, but I think it gave me a lot of time to reflect. And I think, honestly, I don't think I wanted to be a pro until that happened to me. And I had to sit out and not have basketball and have to watch everybody else be successful. Um, so obviously I was hurt, but I think honestly our team did great. And I think initially a lot of people were scared, but they took it by the reins. Everybody stepped up to what they knew that they could do, and I think they did a great job during that non-conference season. And when I came back, it just flowed even better.
Now you got injured before the season started. You
Yep.
got injured in the conference tournament.
Yep.
So what happened there? Because I was watching the game
Mhm.
and then I looked away like during a timeout break or something like that. And when I come back, I don't see you on the court. And then I wait for the announcer to say, and I was like, what did I miss? So what happened?
So 2 minutes into the game, I was at the 3 point line guarding Shimmy Puisis. She, rips the ball overhead. Her elbow comes down on my nose. And in that moment, I'm like, because I mean, our scout on her, she's a great shooter. She's a great
Right.
player. And so my job is to just make her job as hard as possible. So I'm just kind of going all out on her, up in her shorts, whatever. And her elbow ended up coming down on my nose and it was broken. But in that moment, I kept playing. I was like, I can't stop. She has the ball. Like, there's no stopping at this point. Um, but the nose was broken at that point. And then, I did a few laps down and back on the court. And I don't think it was so subtle in the fact that I kept playing that no one even really noticed. But in my mind, after I got hit, I did not know what was going on at all. Couldn't tell you what the scout was, couldn't tell you where I was on the court. There was nothing. So I ended up having to call for a sub for myself and take myself out of the game. There was a play before where a girl had scored on me, and so I like put my hand up like take me out of the game, but I think coach thought it was like my bad, and
Mm.
so I wasn't taken out at that point. So finally I just had to make it very clear, and I just yelled across the court like I need to come out of the game. And so she brings in a sub. I go down, sit on the bench. Amy, our athletic trainer, comes down, doesn't even say a word to me. She squats down, looks at my face, and she was like, "Come on." Nothing else was said. No, nothing. It's just come on. So we go, and it all happened so fast that no one really even knew that I left either. So like no one knew that I left. And
Okay.
so we went back to the training room and I ended up having to get a on-site x-ray during the game, and I'm sitting there on the x-ray machine. I'm like bawling my eyes out because I know my nose is broken. Once I looked in the mirror, it's off to the side. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm done." Like whatever. So then the doctor comes in, she reads the x-ray. She's like, "We can't necessarily tell because she wasn't specialized in noses. She was like, I can't tell this is broken. It might be. But she was like, if you want to play, you feel like you can wear a mask and you can go back out there. And Amy was like, you don't feel obligated to go back out there. Like, you have a broken nose. And I remember telling her, I said, Amy, this is the last game of my college career. You couldn't pay me to sit out on the bench, like whatever it was. So I grabbed the mask, go back out there, and I just told coach I'm good. But I really wasn't. I ended up having a broken nose, fracture in the tip of my nose, and my septum was badly deviated. And then later on, I ended up having a concussion too. One of the worst concussions I've ever had. Ended up out of school for 2 months. It was crazy.
Wow.
I had surgery. Yeah, it was a rough one. And no one ever really knew. But yeah, and I finished the game pretty much. I don't know how I finished that game. It was just mindless playing at that point, trying to, come back.
Wow, Malia, I didn't I didn't realize
Yeah, that's a lot.
that much, because when we ran into each other at the airport headed to
Hmm.
Tampa for the women's Final Four, you told me a little bit of that stuff, but
Yes.
I don't think you told me all of that stuff. So,
Yeah, when I
wow.
ran into you, I had gotten my nose cast off the day before, and yeah, I was fresh off of surgery at that point.
And so you went to Tampa, you were an intern there or something. Remind me of that too. What was that?
I got invited to Above the Rim Summit that the NCAA leadership development team put on for a few girls that have aspirations of going pro or just wanting more information on like after career kind of stuff. So it was like a forum thing.
And I mean, apparently that worked out for you, because earlier this week I saw on Instagram.
Hmm.
Honestly, the first person I saw was your mom's Instagram account, and then I saw yours. You have, well, just share the news. You're a pro, playing pro
Yep.
basketball
I
overseas. So
just
just go ahead.
signed my contract with the Rutronik Stars Keltern. That's how you say the name. Um, to go play in First Division Germany, which is the DBBL, and then so we'll play in the German league, but I'll also be playing in Euro Cup, which is like one of the second best league in Europe that you could be in. So super
Congrats again.
excited.
Very impressive. Who helped? I mean, I mean, this is my platform, so
Hmm.
I don't mind. Give some shine to your agent, your representatives. Go ahead. Who helped put it together?
Yeah, so starting the process, I didn't have an agent when
Right.
season ended, but Coach Nick, he helped me. And then he got me a few options, and I ended up signing with Eric Wiesel, who is great at what he does. He has a lot of background, a lot of history in FIBA, in women's basketball. And so we had one phone call pretty much. And I told Nick, I was like, he fits with me. I want to sign with him, and ended up signing with him. And, I had a few offers before this one, but FIBA moves so fast. It's like you get the offer and then it's gone. And so finally this one stuck, and I got the offer, and maybe like not even 24 hours later I told my agent, let's sign with them, and the rest is history.
How's your German?
I'm on unit 2 on Duolingo, so it's getting better. Um, Not great. Probably couldn't get around by myself, but I have time to learn.
When do you head overseas?
Um, Unofficially, August 28th. That's not set in stone, so it could change, but for right now, that's the date we're looking at.
Do you know? Because I don't know. Do you know how long the season is? How long it lasts over
Yeah,
there in that league?
so we'll start our first practice is September 1st, and then in the contract, it's the regular season is to March 31st, and then if we continue to postseason, it's however many days we're in postseason pretty much after that.
I was surprised when you mentioned that you had not thought about pursuing pro basketball until October, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
what's your plan? How long do you hope to play pro ball, and then what's for you after your pro hoop career?
So I want to play as long as my body lets me play. I think with the opportunities that I have and the abilities that I have, I want to play as long as I can because I'm 22 years old and I get to travel around the world to play basketball. Like, I genuinely don't think it gets much better than that at that point, but you know, who knows what's coming, but I want to play as long as I can. And then after the fact, you know, I guess it just depends on the age in which, you know, I stop playing, but I know that I want to work in professional sports. I've thought about player engagement, or community relations, that kind of avenue. But, you know, now that I'm going to Germany, so a few weeks ago, I was interning with the Tennessee Titans, in Tennessee. So I worked their OTAs and mini camp with them. And that was kind of my first exposure to a lot of the roles that I, you know, just said to you.
Mm-hmm.
But working with them has been so great. It's been such an eye-opening experience, especially because I don't really have any background in football. So, you know, watching how they operate is just so different from basketball. But they have international ties over there. And so I'm definitely going to make it a point to, you know, actively be on the lookout and, you know, get experience where I can, when I can. Flag football is becoming super big internationally.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so many opportunities that people have come to me with internationally that are in Germany or somewhere else. So there's going to be something. And then I've been sitting on the thought that I want to get my PhD just for fun. I don't, you know, why not? I'm not doing anything else with basketball, so definitely probably will be continuing my education too.
Another example of you being a Rice grad. My PhD,
For
just
sure.
for fun. Just for fun. Yeah.
For sure.
This is a random question.
Hmm.
Your mom was a very good hooper.
She was.
How old were you when you were able to beat her in basketball?
Honestly, we've never played each
Really?
other. Yeah, I I would say probably early on in my age, I was able to probably beat her. But you know, we'll play around in the gym, and she was a shooter. I wasn't a shooter to begin with, so if it's any type of shooting competition, somehow she still manages to beat me. But that's okay. It's fine.
Malia Fisher. Oh, well, please do me this favor, honor. Keep me informed of your overseas
Oh, for
hooping.
sure.
And also, I mean, you're a Rice alum, so also keep them informed of your. I hope they have more and more people, players, to
Hmm.
have Rice alums overseas
Yes,
and share that stuff on the website. So do that for both of us.
for sure.
You have any inkling, insight of how the 25-26 Rice Owls team is going to look?
I think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to sneak up on people just because we lost 5 seniors, which was a large part of our, um, you know, statistic categories. But I think they're bringing in a lot of good pieces. And, you know, just judging by what I've heard on what was happening in Europe when they went to play their trip and play their games, that I think they'll surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I heard from another coaching friend of mine mentioned to me that they were told, yeah, Rice is going to surprise some people this year. They look good overseas. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, well, good. I look
Yep.
forward to that. Malia, thank you very much for taking time to do this. I wish you good luck, and I have no doubt that you're going to be successful in anything you put your mind to.
Thank you
Anything
very
you want to
much.
say in closing?
Just, I don't know. Everybody needs to keep up because there's going to be some big things happening for sure.
Malia, you take care and keep in touch.
I definitely will.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed my conversation with Malia Fisher, Rice Owls alum. Final moments of this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover as you're watching on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel and also on Roku via the BS3 Network. Real quick, get the promo in and be back in 90 seconds.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, streaming live on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel and Roku via the BS3 Network. These closing moments, I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. I want to squeeze this in. Comments from SWAC Commissioner Dr. Charles McClelland, SWAC Commissioner, about the creation of SWAC TV. Here's audio of it from yesterday's Football Media Day. Check this out. Big news for the SWAC.
Good afternoon, Dr. McClelland. Chris Stevens from HBCU Sports. How you doing today?
Good afternoon, Chris. Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good. The big news of the day, obviously, of course, outside of the predicted order of finish and everything, is the debut of the SWAC TV app. Just, you mentioned earlier today that this has been going, an ongoing process that you guys have finally been able to launch. Just, how do you think this increases the reach of your conference as far as, with respect to, being visibility and everything like that?
Well, we think it's a game changer. It took us about 3 years to get here. You just can't haphazardly do these things. There's a lot that goes into creating your own network. Steve from Gideo TV had to build out the infrastructure. We had to do a lot of testing. There's a lot of resources that have to be put in. We quite frankly stole a lot of operational plans from the Sun Belt and the SEC. And we just want to be able to create a network that our games could be home to, as well as archive. I think one of the significant things that are going to be a part of SWAC TV outside of all of the games that we're going to show is the ability to archive. So we realize on ESPN Plus, those games are archived around 30 days. We're looking for our games to be archived for a significant amount of time. As a matter of fact, part of our strategic plan is to get it right here on all of these platforms and then move to some form of free TV like Pluto TV, to where we have our own channel, and ultimately to some televised network on linear TV. We're going to need those archive games to be able to go back and show the 1984 Mississippi Valley State versus Alcorn game. So the level of exposure we think that is going to bring is going to be highly significant. And it's just going to be more than just football and basketball. We're going to do Olympic sports. We're going to do all of our sports, our female sports. We're going to have track on there. We're going to have tennis. We're going to have golf. So it's going to be an expanded opportunity. And also, Kris, what we looked at over the course of those 3 years was the behavior of our fans, where they watch the games, how long they watch the games, how many minutes they watched the games, how many people were watching the games, when they switched off. We have all of those metrics. And ultimately, what we found was there was a significant amount in order for us to start this network. And there were some instances where we had more people watching SWAC Digital Network than they were watching ESPN Plus. We have those games that are on HBCU Go. We have those games that are on ESPN, and then our games. When you start get down in the middle of the season, at the end of the season, nobody really knows which one of those games are going to be most significant. You can guess, but now you don't have to choose. You can see them all. It's just a matter of which platform.
And that was actually going to be my follow-up question. Does this, change anything with respect to your agreements with HBCU Go or ESPN, or is this just another sort of link in the chain for SWAC Digital?
HBCU Go, ESPN, and the Southwestern Athletic Conference are all on the same page. Again, there are a lot of contractual things that have to be worked through. It took us 3 years to get here, but all three networks are on the same page. We're all synonymous with each other and what's going on, and we're looking for a great, long-lasting relationship with all of our television partners.
All right, Dr. McClelland, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you, Kris.
Okay.
All right.
Kim, go ahead.
You. How are you, Dr. McClelland? It's good to see you.
I'm doing fine, Kim. How are you?
Good. You answered a lot of my questions, but what I wanted to ask you is you have been, since I've known you, innovative. And what I want to know is there anything else on the horizon for the SWAC in terms of priorities and strategies beyond all the things you're doing with the app and looking at revenue sharing and HBC and SWAC TV? And thank you.
Short answer is yes, Kim. We do have a strategic plan and we're following it, but everything is going to flow through SWAC TV. As SWAC TV is successful, so we have outside consultants. We have the legal minds, some of the greatest legal minds that are out there that money can buy, assisting us in this transition and in this plan. If everything goes well, SWAC TV is going to create an opportunity for us that it's going to be hard for us to imagine all of the different areas and doors that we're going to be able to go through. So quite significant to us is SWAC TV. We're going to put a lot of our energy and focus into it. We're going to have, game day broadcasts, obviously, but we're going to have media set up. We're going to do pregame shows. We're talking about developing halftime shows in our studios that go out. We're going to have our coordinated football officials to come in to where we have a central hub to where when replays are done. We're doing the same thing that the power conferences are doing. So there are so many avenues that this SWAC TV is going to be able to take us to enhance. So it's not just viewership. It's not just exposure. It's going to help officiating. It's going to help name, image, and likeness. So those strategic things that we have, we're going to concentrate because this could be and will be a significant amount of revenue that's coming in to help support our schools.
All right. Thank you, Doc. I'll be reaching out soon.
No problem. I know I'm supposed to go, but I do want to get Perry, and that'll be the last question.
All right, Perry Daniels, you're up.
I appreciate that, Doc. I really do.
No problem.
I'm so excited about this. Can you tell us, will there be like the behind the scenes stories from the different institutions on the network?
Yes, we're not quite there yet, Perry. But yes, this is going to be a fully functioning network where we're going to do in-depth interviews. We're going to do highlights on students. Part of the problem that we've had in the past is not being able to have that platform to do it in a high quality professional way. We're going to do that now. Also, each member institution have those in-depth stories. Now it will be allowed for them to access our network and be able to do that. Even the institutions that have their own television networks, they're going to be able to feed into SWAC TV. They're going to be able to run their local commercials, right? So now they're going to take our multi-million minutes watch, our millions and millions of viewers watch, and be able to put their programs on our platforms and enhance their overall revenue generating opportunities and possibilities. So the sky's the limit on this thing, and we want to make this a fully functional television network. It's going to take some time to get there, but that is 100% the plan.
There you have comments from Dr. Charles McClelland, SWAC Commissioner, about the creation of SWAC TV. That'll do it for this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. I am proud. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Next Thursday's guest will be Alvin Franklin, Senior Associate AD for Direct Development and Executive Director of Development. He's been a guest on the Takeover before. He's agreed to join me next Thursday on the Takeover. So come back for that. Spread the word about this show. Please spread the word about the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. And if you are a Coug alum, order your once a Coug, always a Coug shirt. Wrap it up as I always do. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone out there, y'all know what they need to do. Take care. Do this. Come back next Thursday. Rocket fans, stay tuned to the channel as well. My pleasure. See you again next Thursday on the Takeover. Peace.